to the live. My name is Carolyn Savage. I'm a dating and love attraction coach, aka your wing woman. Topic of the day. Oh man, we were gonna have a guest on here today, but something happened. I'm not sure what happened, but so she was trying to get in. I was trying to let her in to the live, but it just didn't work out. So I'm just gonna tell you what her question was. So she had just recently met somebody and went out on like one date, and everything was going really good. And then she said he just ghosted me. So she thought it was going really good and she ghosted me. So her question just was like, what can I do differently, or how do I know that a guy may ghost me? Or so I'm like, you know what, it's hard to really know sometimes, but I think when you're really in touch with your feelings, and I think when you're really aware, and that's why I always tell people, like, I'm a journal junkie. You guys got to check out this journal. So one thing to do, do one thing every day that scares you. And of course, like, confronting someone that ghosts you may scare you, so for that day. But anyway, so I'm a person that, I always tell my clients to journal everything out. So when you're going on that first date with them, before you're about to go on the date with them, kind of like journal that out before you even go on the date. Journal that out, like things about him, how you feel, how you're feeling, and then do that first of all. And then second of all, but anyway, the answer to her question was, how do you know? I think it's just being aware, and seeing, like, are they really vibing with me, or am I the one like doing most of the talking? Am I doing the connecting, and am I super happy about this guy, but he's not really happy about me? And then you can watch his body language, you can watch his eyes. If someone's eyes light up when they're talking to you, and a guy that, most guys don't smile all the time. So if he's smiling a little bit more, I mean, you barely know him, but if he's smiling a lot, or he's doing something, or he may touch you. He may touch you on your shoulder, or try to hold hands with you, or just touch you, or he might let his arm touch you. He'll do something special for you, while you're on the date. But you really cannot gauge that only by one date. But I'll tell you a thing to do where you can get him into you, so make sure that he's into you. But I feel like it's, you have to, I feel like, you know what, I just play hard to get. I ain't gonna lie to you, I play hard to get, and so they don't know, really how I'm feeling. And I love this book called The Rules, because you act like no other. So you act kind of like a unicorn, someone that's different. And what I do is I do fun things, or I say things, that's different or fun. Or you know what I'll do? A lot of times I will engage in him more than I talk. So what I'll do is really listen, and I'll just be staring at him, and I'll just like listen to every story that he has. I ask questions about his story, and not be too thirsty in a way, but just really engage in him and get into him, and then give him that experience. I give him the girlfriend experience, where it's just like, wow, she's really cool. She listens to me. She likes the same things I like, and then just getting excited about him. So you're on that date, right? And then I'm gonna tell you right now, a good tip: don't stay on the date with the person longer than an hour. If maybe it's a dinner, it could last a little, like you're at a restaurant, and a dinner could last about an hour, a little bit over hour and a half. But I'm telling you, don't extend it to 2 hours. Don't tell the guy, oh, we should go. You want to go to the beach now? Or you want to go somewhere else now? Or just, you got dinner, you got dessert, then you're going to drink coffee, and then you guys are going to continue to talk on the date. So honestly, do short amount of time with that person. So just do an hour with the person. You know what, I got something to do. I don't care what time it is, I have something to do after the date. And make sure you have something to planned already. You have something to do after the date. Then after the date, you're not the person that's going to text him. Don't text him first after the date. And then you're gonna leave it so it's kind of like a mysterious, like, does she really like me? When you are really, I call, we call it thirsty, but when you really are into the guy, he knows it, and you just future tripping with him and saying all these things and just like pouring your heart out, and then you're telling him every aspect of your life, and just giving him almost too much information, oversharing, and then you guys just went on that first date. Sometimes that will scare a person away if they're not that into you. So you're already maybe future tripping, they're not that into you, and then that may scare them, or they may just want to have fun and you are wanting something serious. One thing you can do is make sure you guys have that conversation about, like, what are you looking for? And then that person, if they say, hey, I'm just looking for fun, and I'm just out here, I'm just out here, or they just got out of a relationship, they could say, I want something serious, but I just got out of a relationship, and I just want to date around and see how it goes. Those keywords, see how it goes, I'm not sure, I just want to have fun. If you're overlooking those words, then and then you still keep saying to yourself, like, oh, I really like him, he's the one, and they can feel that you're thirsty, they can feel that you're kind of desperate to be in a relationship with him. When I'm dating someone, I be like so nonchalant, I'm like having a good time with them. I'm telling you, I'm giving them my eyes, I'm giving them the best experience, I'm listening and all that. But then I just make sure that I'm not like, I don't even know how to, it's a confidence, it's an air about yourself. Like, I could take you or leave you. I really don't care. I'm not sure about you. So that's what I'll do too. I make it like I'm not sure about him. And then he'll ask me something about, oh, okay. He'll say like something about a future date, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I said, let's get to the end of this date first. So you can kind of be cheeky with him and say stuff like that, like, I don't even know, and I'll tell him sometimes, I don't even know if I like you. So and I'll say that later on too, like maybe if we've been dating for like a month or two, I'll say, I don't even know if I like you or not. So those little things like that where it make them kind of unsure, and you just got to play the little game with them, make them unsure, so that they kind of like, she's different, I kind of want to, you'll be at the top of their mind sometime when they have when guys have like a lot of options, and then they know you're available, they know you really like him. I know I could tell she really likes me, and this and that. He goes, I don't know what it is, they kind of keep fishing anyway, and so they may not really like you as much as you like them, and they can feel that. I think another thing is to don't make yourself so available. When that guy texts you, then you need to just wait a minute. Like maybe he texts you at 8 o'clock. Don't text him right back. Maybe about 15 minutes. Just wait a minute. Those kind of things. Those are the little things that I do, and I tell my client, like, wait. There's times that I wait a couple of hours, and I do it on purpose. It's so sad, but I might wait a couple of hours and not text him back, and then he'll tell me, he'll see me and go, how come you don't ever text me back? One guy told me that I said, how come you like me? And we were just, we were dating for a couple of months, and it was a short period of time. And then he said, why do why? I said, and he said, because you don't ever text me, you don't ever call me. So it's almost like a challenge for them. It's funny. But another client, let's see. No, he wasn't a client. It was my Uber driver, and he said that he was dating this woman, and she had recently got out of a relationship, and then they had went on a couple of dates, and he said he thought everything was going a while, maybe about a month. He thought everything was going good, and then he says when he said he wanted to get serious with her, he was like, hey, maybe we should take this to the next level. She just totally ghosted him. I'm like, so she totally ghosted him. And then, I always got to get a little bit of a backstory, but it's because she was in a relationship. I guess she was in an abusive relationship. And then they were going on dates, and he was like, oh yeah, she was like, he said she didn't really drink that much, but we went on dates and she had fun and she drank a lot. And then I took her to nice places. And then, but when I wanted to take it to the next level, which I thought that's what she wanted, then she just totally blocked me. And then I asked him, I said, well, if she called you again, would you answer? And he was like, yes. So that's just like, it's, I think it's another thing too, is it's just something about it. She knew that I could take him or leave him, and I don't really care. And she didn't even want a relationship with him. So I think you have to vet the person and make sure they want a relationship. And then you guys are on the same page, and you can tell and make sure that it's not just, hey, one question that you're asking, but you're asking a few questions so that you can tell if they really are on a path to get into a long-term relationship. And because that person may, like when you say on their profile, I just want something casual, where then they're just telling you that because you just answered and said that you want to be, well, I want a long-term relationship, I want to get married, or I want to be able to date somebody for years. So what I do with men is I'll just say, like, I say, I don't know if I want to get married or not. I say, I don't think I want to get married. I just kind of mess with them. In my mind, I know I want to get married, but I still kind of just play the game and be like, I don't know. And then I tell people, like, I don't like you that much. We'll see at the end of the day. I just do little things like that. So they're like not quite sure. And that's just a way to kind of flirt with them. And so, but anyway, so the guy that got ghosted, then I said to him, well, if she texts you back, just say, hey, I'm dating somebody else. Because he was really gonna just let her, whenever she wanted to text him back and take him off of the block, then he was gonna just let her talk to him again, and I guess he's gonna start dating her again. But if somebody ghosts you, let them be gone. You know what I'm saying? Let them be gone. And you know what? They were not worth your time, because that's a waste of my time. I've had times where I've blocked someone, and then I knew that I could unblock him when I felt like it, and then he would keep coming for me. But you just don't want somebody like that, because in a relationship, they'll cut you off in a minute, and then you'll be all sad, and then they'll come back, or they hang up the phone on you or something like that. So you don't even want that type of communication. I think communication is the number one thing that you need in a relationship. And why would you want somebody that just totally goes silent on you when you guys are trying to even establish something? So most of the time when someone ghosts you, it's just not a mutual feeling. They just don't feel the way that you do, or they maybe had a past relationship where they want to go back to that relationship. They just don't want to hurt your feelings. She's cool, and that's what I hear from my male clients, is like, it's cool, but she's not, he can just see she's not the one. And so dating it's a numbers thing. Dating is a numbers thing. So you gotta, not carry your heart on your sleeve all the time. If it's only been a few months, and maybe you just thought, oh my God, that was the one, and I know we just had everything in common, and it seemed that way, but just pick up on the signs, pick up on how they are really feeling, and their actions. I think actions definitely speak louder than words. And when they're asking you on another date, on that first date, that's a sign. And then they're consistent, not just say, hey baby, or they're not typical, hey beautiful in the morning thing, but they're asking more deeper questions, and they want to get to know you more. And then they want to invite you to their friends, like a gathering with their friends. They want to invite you to their house. Ladies, if a man has not invited you over to his house, be careful. You have never seen his house. You don't know where he lives. Watch out for that. And then you have not met any of his friends. I'm gonna say it's been 2 or 3 months. You haven't met any of his friends. That's a red flag right there. So that's another thing. Or like they're keeping you kind of at a distance. They're keeping you at a distance because they're not quite sure about you. And so what you do is, if they're kind of keeping you at a distance, just how they prioritize you prioritize them in that manner. If someone says hey to me when they're texting, I just say hey. I don't say hey and I'm doing this and my day is going this, and I keep talking about whatever, and they barely giving me their energy. The energy that they're putting into you, that's what you're putting into them. And then so what I try to do, like I said, is I stay kind of a little bit unavailable. So I don't, like I said, I don't text them back right away. I don't text them. Period. I don't if they have not texted me, I don't text them. And then another thing, sometimes you may ask a guy on a date. I notice a lot of women do that, especially women that are over like 45 or so, over 50. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I bought these two concert tickets, and I'm gonna invite him to this concert." No, I just feel like wait for the man to ask you, wait for the man, let him lead, because even if he says, "Hey, do you want to go out on Friday night?" It's Wednesday and he asks you, "You want to go out on Friday night?" Then you can say, "You know what? I happen to have some tickets to this concert and I was going to go by myself, or I was going to go with my girlfriend and she said, she didn't want to go." You can do something like that. But to go ahead and ask him out on a date, no. And you ask him on a date, maybe you end up buying him drinks, or you do things for him, or you keep calling him and you keep texting him, and you're kind of just always the person that's constantly leading. That'll get you ghosted. Because he's like, "Whoa, she's super aggressive," or "Whoa, slow down," when she wants you to, I mean, you know what I'm saying, when he's quite not, he's not sure. So let's make sure the man is sure about you, and make sure that he's the one that's just chasing. I just feel that way. I know it's 2024 now, but I just think that's just the way I feel more secure, and I know that that man really likes me. And I personally, I just don't. They don't ghost me because like I said, I play little tricks. So I think, ladies, you're just gonna have to just hold back on that love. Sometimes hold back on a little bit. You don't have to lie, but that's why I said I'll be like, I don't know if I want a relationship. And then like you don't want to be too unavailable, because then they will run away and they will be like, "Oh, I don't know if she likes me or not." So you just give them just enough to feed them. You know what I'm saying? You give them a little snack, but you just don't give them a whole meal. And I think that's what's happening. Ladies, you're giving him the whole meal. Even like cooking for him. Like, suppose you guys have been dating maybe a month, and then he comes over and you decide to cook for him, which is no, don't. No. After a month, I wait till we're in a relationship before you taste my food, because I feel like after just a month and you guys have not said you're exclusive, and then you maybe invite him over to your house, you cook for him, you got all his special food, you have some everything is just like perfect for him, and then you end up giving him some loving too. So you just made him some food, and you're giving him some loving, and then you let him stay over, and then come on, man, you're gonna let him stay over, then the next morning you're gonna cook him breakfast. It's too much already. You're basically giving him everything, and he hasn't even asked you to be his girlfriend. No, no, no. Don't do that. Just don't. I just see, yes, you will probably end up getting in some type of relationship with them, maybe for a few months, or it won't even be in a relationship, it'll be a situationship. So you'll be dating him for a few months, and then he'll never say like, "Yep, this is my girl." Like, when you remember, when you go out to an event with the man, he says, "Oh yeah, this is Bridget." And he don't say, "This is my girlfriend Bridget, and this is this, and we've been dating for 3 months." I mean, you can tell the difference between a man that really is into you and he really likes you. He says, "This is my woman," and he tells the whole room, "This is my woman." If he just says, "Oh yeah, this is Bridget," and then he, lets everybody introduce, be careful. So there's just some little small little things that you need to be aware of, because that person, you can watch out when he's pulling back, when he's not consistent, when he's not asking you on the next date and the next date, and then he's not putting you in his future. A lot of men, you can tell if they want you, they'll be like, "Okay, so next week we can go to this one place. I remember there's this event that we can go to, and we can go to this rock climbing event, or we can do this," or they're thinking of you in their future. If it's been like 3 months, and then they're not saying those kind of things like, "Oh, you know what, it's my birthday next month and I know you're going to be there, we're having a party," or whatever it is, so they're including you, then just be careful. I just feel like if you there's sometimes where it just takes you, it just sideswipes you. You guys don't know each other that well, and boom, it sideswipes you. There's times when you've been in something. I have a client that she was in a relationship for 3 years, and then on her birthday he ghosted her. So, but there were some signs, and of course, after 3 years, he she never went inside his house. She never went inside his house. That was one thing. His children, I think she didn't meet the children. So there's just little signs, and those type of things where you guys are having fun together, and that's it's a situationship until it's a relationship. So you guys are having fun together, and then they just pull back, and you're gone. And I would say wait to have sex. Don't just, okay, I'm just gonna have sex with him and everything's going good. And I feel, especially when you get over 35 or something, we ain't got time to be just sitting around, just sitting around with guys and just having fun. I mean, it's cool if you just want to date or you got out of a relationship or something, but I just don't think we have time to just be going from one guy to the next and giving it up, giving the sex up, giving the loving up at one guy after the next. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna be sad and tired because you keep getting into something, and then they're not saying, hey, I want to be your woman, because you're giving them everything before they even asking you. Just like I said with the meal, you're going to cook for them, you're doing all this special stuff, you're letting them stay over. If a man comes over, and I'm telling you, if we're in a relationship, so that don't even happen with me. I'm not going to cook for you unless we're in a relationship. But if you're not and you're coming over, you're going to come bring something to my house, or I'll make him do that for real. I'll make him bring dinner to my house, or make him bring something to drink, or make him bring something. And so that way I'm not just going to be giving, and then I get nothing back. And it's not even about a monetary thing or anything. It's you pouring yourself out to a man that is really not that into you, and he knows that, and he knows he can come and go. He knows that, hey, I'm not gonna, she all right, and then he just stops texting you, and then 2 weeks later, hey, what you doing? And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm da da da, and I'm just here at the house, and I'm watching this movie, and I'm about to go out with my girls, and I'm da da da. You're telling this, giving them long story when he haven't talked to you for 2 weeks. He knows he can come in and out of your life. So I feel like you just need to set standards. You have boundaries. There's people with boundaries. Boundaries are huge, because that lets them know they can't be late for a day. They can't just disappear and come right back into your life. They can't just give you some little half answers when you ask them something and you want to go deep, and you want to talk about something more, that's not surface. They do that with you, and they want to connect with you. You can just, there's a difference between someone connecting with you and someone playing games with you, or just being on the surface. And like I said, they put you in their future. They tell their friends about you. It's just a different kind of feel. And I know, even with my client that had been dating someone for 3 years, it was surface for 3 years. It wasn't super deep, and like, she invited him into her life, and she invited him to her family, and she felt deep. But with him, he was kind of keeping her, how you do with the long handle spoon. So those kind of things, you just have to be aware of. That's why I said always journal. I have a journal. It said, do one thing that scares you every day, and write those things out, and saying, like, if I write my feelings out and saying, well, I have poured myself out to this man, and I got real deep with him, and then I asked him this deep question, and he didn't answer me, and he just said, I'm not sure, I don't know. Uh, and then you've asked him other questions where you want, maybe ask him about his past, and maybe say, like, how was it when you were growing up? Maybe he grew up in a certain area, or how was it growing up in that area, and how did you feel this way, or being, this and this. I'm just giving you a scenario. And so then he didn't get deep with you. I mean, just certain things like that. Those are just signs that they're not that into you, and then they're not going deep. So just be aware of those things and always have a non-negotiable. My thing is I have to have a guy that we have a good conversation and we communicate. And if I don't have that, and that's a non-negotiable for me. Another non-negotiable, he doesn't listen to me. If a man doesn't ask you any questions, that scares me. That's kind of, so remember those red flags that you had, and that you write them down, write non-negotiables down. But you're the person that sets the standard. Don't let them set a standard, and just because you want to be in a relationship, then you're just going to keep holding on to that person. Then you can keep on. If he says, hey, let's go on it. It's like Wednesday, and then he says, he Wednesday at like 4 o'clock, and he says, hey, you want to go on a date at 8? And then you're always available, that kind of thing. And then he just sees you're always available. You never say no. You take all of his surface level fun and all that. So there's just certain things that we need to remember, so that way you don't get ghosted. That way, even if he stops talking to you, you're like, you know what, I'm okay with that, because that's not what I want. And so, number one, make sure you know what you want. If you know what you want, when that person comes around, you'll be the person that's going to ghost him. You're going to be the person that says, you know what, this is not the kind of relationship I want, and I'm good. And then when he leaves, you're okay with that. So I just wanted to get on here for a little while and talk about that, because I feel like, just play the game. There is a game that you have to play. Play it, lie a little bit, flirt more, and don't answer the text right away. Don't be so available for that person all the way. There's a way to play hard to get, but you don't want to push him away. But when he's in your presence, give him that girlfriend experience, like, and just give him, not everything, but I'm just saying, give him the experience where you're getting into him, you're giving him the contact, you're asking him questions. And you know what, if you guys have any questions, I don't even know if I don't have the chat up, but if you guys have any questions about getting ghosted, put them in the chat. But just, you're giving him that experience of what he could have, but then you pull back. So you just give him some, you pull back. You don't give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, and then make it like, okay, I want to be his girlfriend. He's the one, this and that, and then you just giving him everything, but never pulling back. And that's how I notice when I get into different relationships. I'll be like, I don't know if I want to get married. I don't know if I want to be in a relationship. I had a guy where he was always like, do you think you would like me? Do you think you would like a guy like me? And he'd ask me questions like that. But I, he would ask me questions like that because, I don't know. I just kept guessing. And then when he called me, I might, call him back in an hour, or he'd be like, what were you doing? Or whatever. So just do those type of things. And you are the person that's in control, and that person won't control you. And never let somebody control your emotions. If they do ghost you, let them go. It's all good, because you have that confidence. You know who you are. You know you're enough. You know what kind of person you are. You know you're a good woman. If you're talking to men, you know you're a good man. So you already know if they have their own issues, and that's just what it is. If they ghost you, if everything seemed great and then they just run away, it was something else. They're afraid of commitment or whatever it is. But stay true to yourself. Have boundaries. Have your non-negotiables, and know that you'll be the one that say yes or no with if you want a relationship or not. And never be desperate for a relationship. And that people could smell that. People could see that. That's why some men will say, well, how come she I gave her everything. I did this, I did that. You did too much. You did too much. Save some of that stuff for when you're in a relationship. Stop pouring it all on, and then just, it scares people away sometimes when you pour all that love on and all that. Give it to them slowly. And I'll tell you, I'll be in a relationship for 6 months and they go, I don't know if you love me, Carolyn. And never say I love you first. Never. Women, never. Let the man say I love you first. But remember to subscribe to the channel and look out for some more lives, because we're going to be doing some more Q&A lives. And sorry let me see if I can see the chat. I don't see the chat. So I guess you guys didn't have it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. All right. So we'll see you next time.